everyone? Justin Fraser here from the DeRosa Group. So excited to be here at BPCon with my best BPCon friend.
Best BPCon
BPCon
that's
friend.
Amazing.
This is our third BPCon together.
It is, yes.
Started off, Jeff interviewed me on his show
True
4
that.
years ago. We interviewed you last year at BPCon.
That's right. And
here
now
we
we're
are
doing
again.
a back and forth interview.
Yeah,
Because we have to balance it out.
we absolutely do.
Yes.
So today we get to interview Mr. Jeff Holst because Jeff probably travels more than anybody I know. Probably still jet lagged from being across the world.
I am jet lagged from
You're
Tanzania,
like permanent
actually.
jet lag going on here with Jeff.
Well, if you do it enough, you don't ever get jet lag because it doesn't catch up. But I've been stuck in San Diego
just
for
awake.
days now.
Awake in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
sleeping all day. Like I don't know how you
Like a
balance it.
vampire.
Yeah, exactly. So my man Jeff Holst from Old Fashioned Real Estate. What a great show, right? Old Fashioned Real Estate. Sit down, have a drink. We should be drinking right now.
We
man.
should.
We should have an old
We
fashioned.
should. Old fashions tonight at the hotel bar. Deal.
Works for me. I'm in. So Jeff, tell everyone in the audience. You know they might have seen you in our video last year. What the heck have you been up to in the last 12 months? Tell us about your major exciting life.
Okay, I moved to Puerto Rico.
Boom.
Boom. Moved to Puerto Rico. I've been to Antarctica.
That's amazing.
I've been to Tanzania not once but twice.
Jeez.
Working on buying a property in Tanzania, actually.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Well, let's dig in on Puerto Rico first.
Sure.
Right? You used to live in Tennessee.
I did.
And you decided, I'm going to move to Puerto Rico.
Right.
Why?
Okay,
Tell me why.
so I actually technically still live in Tennessee.
Okay.
I have to be really clear because we don't want anyone to question this. I spend a little bit more than half my time in Tennessee. There
Okay.
are a lot of people that move to Puerto Rico for tax advantages because there's some rules there that allow you to be exempt from U.S. federal tax on income earned in Puerto Rico. I don't earn any income in Puerto
You
Rico
don't
right
earn
now.
income in Puerto Rico. Okay,
Yes, I
understood.
live in the United States. I live and I stay in Tennessee slightly more than half the time.
So what is okay, understood. We're being very clear.
Very
more
clear.
than half the time in Tennessee, in the United States.
Yes.
Why would someone flip that, right? Why do you want to say that you're living, why are you living
so
more
as a
in Tennessee?
multifamily
Yeah, tell me
investor,
about
I
that.
don't pay income tax, right?
Right.
I have cost segregations and all that kind of fun stuff. But if you actually pay income tax and you move to Puerto Rico, you can apply for Act 60 company, which will allow you to actually exempt a significant proportion of your income from U.S. tax and pay a much lower Puerto Rican tax rate.
Okay.
So it's like 4% on export services, 0% on capital gains. So it's attractive
Yeah.
for people that pay tax. I just don't happen to pay federal tax, so 4% sounds like more than 0%.
Okay. So even if you lived in Puerto Rico, 51% of the time,
Yes.
you now would have to be triggering that 4%.
I would,
tax.
yes, and
Okay.
they don't treat depreciation the same way we do in the U.S. There's no bonus depreciation, stuff like that. So as a result, I would pay significantly more tax than I do.
Okay, got
But
it. So
I do
for
love
you,
Puerto
a
Rico.
multifamily investor with a lot of losses here, tax losses, makes sense. You're still a United States resident.
Right.
When would it make sense for someone to actually move to Puerto Rico from a tax perspective and investing? What kind of investor does that make sense for?
That would make sense for anyone who's paying tax, actually,
Okay.
just about. It is a little bit questionable, right? So it's only income earned in Puerto Rico that counts towards Puerto Rican taxes. So if you live in Puerto Rico, you're there more than half the year, you qualify. Actually, I did a whole video about this on
Okay.
my Puerto Rican Life channel, so
We'll
people
link
can
that
look
below.
for that. Puerto Rico Life. There's a few steps you have to go through, but if you do qualify for that, then you would get the 4% tax on export services. So that's like a consulting person, a coach, anyone who's doing internet content, podcasting. All the crypto people should live there because it's 0% on capital gains for cryptocurrency.
Okay. Jeez.
So if you buy Bitcoin at $1, you sell it at $1 gazillion. There's no tax.
Got it.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
that's attractive.
Yeah, it is. That's why there's a lot of crypto people there. That's actually why I'm in Puerto Rico, because you have a lot of tech startups, crypto people. There's also some hospitality and tourism credits. So there's just a lot of really interesting stuff going on there right now.
Yeah.
And you've got all these comparatively rich people moving there, which is really attractive from a real estate investing perspective. So it's actually driving up property prices in certain neighborhoods and things like that.
Okay, so do you see a lot of flippers in Puerto Rico? What's happening down there?
Yeah, so after Maria, they had a declining population. In fact, they've had a declining population until last year for 20 years in a row.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So you have a declining population, which has suppressed real estate values, and suddenly you have this influx of new wealth, which is causing that trend to turn around. So there's just tons of opportunity. You can buy, I know people that are buying like fourplexes for like $80,000, putting like 40 in and then selling them for like 300, you know,
Wow.
just
Okay.
crazy
Jeez.
flipping returns. You're also seeing things like a huge influx of new short-term rentals because they had their best tourism year ever last year, which is really surprising because tourism has been repressed from COVID, but because they're part of the U.S., it's been easier to travel back and forth there in the last couple of years than almost anywhere else.
Okay, got it. Now, if I'm going to invest in Puerto Rico, I might be thinking like the U.S. I have this great opportunity that the U.S. offers a 1031 exchange where I can defer my taxes. Tell us about that. Does that even work in Puerto Rico?
So it doesn't actually. So the 1031, the section of the tax code specifically exempts Puerto Rico, which is weird because you can do 1031s to my knowledge in places like St. Thomas and things like that, but not in Puerto Rico. However, the Opportunity Zone law does apply in Puerto Rico, and 98% of the island's in an Opportunity Zone. So if you do have capital gains from stocks or whatever, real estate, you can actually, take advantage of that Opportunity Zone rule.
Wow. Okay, so maybe I'm not getting the 1031, but there's other benefits like opportunity.
Sure. And also, if you do move to Puerto Rico, you get long-term rent is not taxable.
Okay.
So short-term rent is, but long-term rent's not taxable in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
There are some exemptions from property taxes and stuff that you can apply for. And if you convert a property from a non-hospitality use to a hospitality use, you can get a 40% tax credit that's transferable, dollar for dollar.
Oh,
So you can put $1 million in and get a $400,000 tax credit that you can then sell to a bank for $390,000.
Wow. Okay, Jeff, probably a lot of people are wondering, we just came out of Hurricane Ian. I know that lots of damage from the storm. So tell me about the considerations. You already mentioned Maria. We just had one here this year. There's always going to be storms that are hitting Puerto Rico.
Sure. So
that's a risk that I would say, oh man, I'd be really, really nervous to invest in Puerto Rico. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's a risk. The infrastructure's, not as good as it is in the U.S. But after 2017, when Maria hit, they spent some ridiculous amount, billions of dollars into refreshing their infrastructure. They privatized their electrical grid. So it's much more efficient than it was prior to Maria. The other thing that happens is everything's made of concrete.
Okay.
It just doesn't blow over, right? For the most part, the structures are built to last.
Got it. Okay.
And they just got hit by Fiona. So right before Ian, that one's got sort of pushed Fiona out of the news. But Fiona hit the southwest side of Puerto Rico, put the power out on the island for a few days. But nothing crazy, right? Everything seems to be back to normal. Obviously, unless you lost your life, there were a few people that did that. But other than that, it actually wasn't as bad as it could have been, and I think the hurricane response has really improved in Puerto Rico the last few years.
Okay, and as you're saying, all this population now is starting to grow. Hopefully some of that infrastructure comes right behind it. Lots more money coming into Puerto Rico, and you're going to see everything kind of go on the upswing.
Yeah, so the other thing you have going on in Puerto Rico is because you can freely move back and forth from the United States, you have when the economy is good in Puerto Rico, which it is right now, you have an influx of Puerto Ricans coming back to Puerto Rico as well. You have 4.2 million Puerto Ricans living in the mainland U.S. and only 3 million Puerto Ricans living in Puerto Rico. So you have this huge potential population, people that want to go back to where they're from.
All right, well, that is a ton of information on Puerto Rico. I want to tease us now because you mentioned Tanzania.
Yes,
and so I'm going to preview you guys for next year's BPCon because Jeff's going to have some big news for us at next year when I interview you wherever we are, BPCon next year. I know you're going to have some great stuff to tell us about Tanzania, but set us up. What is the plan? You've been there twice already this year. What are you trying to do out there?
So I'm trying to buy a small non-hunting safari lodge, right? So people can go out into the Serengeti, take pictures of the elephants, the lions, all that stuff. And it's small intentionally because I want to use it for mastermind spaces. So when the DeRosa insiders want to have a meetup in Tanzania, you can all come. We have this whole process where you can just come in, you can go look at the lions, and you can come back and do your mastermind time in the evening. You can do a whole day in the lodge. And because it's small, we can actually rent the entire lodge to one group for a week or a day or 5 days, whatever they need. So.
Okay, so you're searching now. We talk about trying to find property. You already found it. So you identified the property.
I have. We have not got it under contract yet, but I'm very optimistic. So the numbers work really good. The owners want to sell. It's off the market. So it's It's taken me 2 years to find the right property,
Okay.
but
You need some private money on this thing? You taking
well,
on investors? What's the
we
deal?
we can't do a syndication because the Tanzanian law doesn't mesh very well with U.S. security law. So I'm definitely not taking on passive investors on this particular deal. In fact, the people that are going to take it down with me have all been to the lodge with me already to investigate. That's how active I'm. Like, they're going to be definitely active.
Absolutely, everybody's active.
Yes.
Okay. Well, guys, stay tuned. That's so exciting. I can't wait till you see we do a video from that lodge.
Yes,
in
that's
Tanzania.
right.
Maybe within the next year, maybe before BPCon next year.
I hope
Who knows,
so.
right? But at the very least, we'll get an update from Jeff next year.
Hakuna Sinkumbaya.
What?
Hakuna Sinkumbaya. You know that.
Tell us what that means.
No bad days in Swahili.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yes.
Jeff, it's been so great to chat with you.
Always a
Thanks
pleasure,
so much,
my friend.
man. Really good. My favorite BPCon interview, as always, Mr. Jeff Holst. Guys, if you want to hear more from Jeff, what we're up to, like, subscribe, follow the links below. We'll get more from Jeff in the old-fashioned real estate. Let's go have a drink, man.
Right. You
Let's do it.
should.
All right.